Greetings, 2 Echo 0 Papa Golf Sierra. This is a comparison between the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro Organiser and the Stanley Professional Deep Organiser. Now, I'm making this video to clear up a little bit of unknowns that isn't so well documented, but the Stanley do this one-handed. The Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro Organiser on the bottom. There's two models, one without metal clasps and one with. Ironically, the one with metal was cheaper on Amazon. The other thing is, the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro Organiser, which I'll show a bit more of in a minute, is under the Dewalt name in America, and Dewalt and Stanley are actually owned by the same conglomeration now, or have been for some time, along with Black & Decker. So anyway, let's just do a bit of a comparison of the two first. So this is a Stanley Professional Deep Organiser. It's got a lid that opens up, goes up, 90 degrees. The bins are square bins, just a square bin, straight in, same diameter, and you got a few small, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small bins, 2 double sized bins and 1 triple sized bin, which comes with a couple dividers that you can take out. Now, I've gone with the Stanley Professional Deep Organiser over the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro for a number of reasons. One of them is because of the bigger bin size. You get more of these bigger bins. For my use case, it's more useful, and also the bins are square. You'll see the difference in a minute. But this one does lack waterproofing, which isn't a massive downside for me, to be honest. And also, it's a little bit more expensive, but if it fits my use cases better, I'm happy for that. Happy to pay a little bit extra. So that's the Stanley Professional Deep Organiser, and as you notice, it does stack on top the Deep Pro, although they're not designed to latch. Whereas if you have two Stanley Deep Pro Organisers, they will interlock with each other. But these two do rest on top of each other quite well, and it's not going anywhere. So whether you need the actual lock between the two, if you don't, they will stack fine. So let me just move this one to the side. So now onto the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro Organiser. This one's with the metal buckles, plastic side bits that lock onto the side. I guess if you've got something heavy, it prevents it bowing the lid. It also allows you to lock on to the second Fatmax if you have one. It's got a waterproof seal, and it supposedly has metal hinges, but they're not metal hinges, it's just a metal hinge pin. So if you bump that hinge against something too hard, you're going to crack the actual hinge. The only thing metal about the hinge is the pin. So I think it's a little bit of false advertising there. So yeah, you've got a waterproof gasket, but due to the way the process, they use to inject this gasket, which appears to be some sort of injection technique, there's a couple discrepancies in the gasket here on the left side, and on the right side it's not as bad, barely any discrepancy there, a little bit more there. So I'm a bit worried about how that influences the IP53 waterproofing. Anyway, with the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro, you can stack these boxes, so that's an advantage if you need that, if you want to take them out. For me, it's not any use, to be honest, and you can also stack two small ones on top of the big one. You kind of need two because one's a bit unstable. The other thing about these is a disadvantage is that they're not entirely square, they're actually rounded. You see the rounding there? So the diameter isn't necessarily the same all the way down. Diameter at the top is wider and then it drops off shallower, which to me is a bit annoying. It won't quite fit certain things I plan to put in there. And you only got 2 double size, so if you want anything bigger you have to take trays out, and you have to deal with putting these trays somewhere and storing those, which in my opinion isn't really an option. Stanley Professional Deep Organisers are also stackable on top of each other. No interlocking system, but it's tight enough. You're not going to move that. It's moving the bottom one as well. Maybe not when you push it back too much, but yeah, you're not really going to move that. So this is the final reason that I like the Stanley Professional Deep Organiser more than the Stanley Fatmax Deep Pro Organiser, also known as the Dewalt Fatmax, is because these bin sizes happen to hold a deck of cards perfectly. You can fit 5 decks of cards in a single small bin, so 10 in a double size bin and 15 in a triple size bin. And here's the spacers. In the triple size bin it comes with these little spacers. You can take those out if you need something, you need to fit a multimeter in there or something that's very big. You can do that, whereas on the Fatmax you have to physically remove the bin to get any larger size storage. The square, it takes up the entire space. You don't have little gaps. You're making the most of the internal space with the bins. You know, the bins are actually taking up as much space as possible. So that's another reason I like this organiser better. Only 2 latches, but that's just a bit of a video to clear up the differences between the two. So thanks for watching. Cheers from 2 Echo 0 Papa Golf Sierra.